In Rio de Janeiro, the film opens 10 years earlier. Hernan Reyes, the crime boss, and his sociopathic son Dante are waiting for Dom and his crew to come after them. Their heist in Brazil goes wrong in the streets, and Dante pursues them alongside his father. They make it to the bridge, where Dom remains to ensure Reyes' demise, while Dante is thrown off the bridge and into the water. In the present day, Dom is teaching little Brian how to drive before taking him back home for a barbecue with Abuelita Toretto, who has flown in for the occasion. They return home to Letty, Mia, Tej, Roman, Ramsey, and Han's family. Following Abuelita's speech, everyone eats before discussing a planned heist in Rome allegedly commissioned by Little Nobody. At night, Dom tells Letty that while little Brian claims to be fearless, he is terrified of losing his family. A battered and bloodied Cipher arrives at the house moments later. Before confronting their adversary, Dom and Letty hide little Brian. Cipher warns them that a bigger problem is on the way in the form of Dante. He had previously entered her facility after killing 2 guards and revealing that he had kidnapped Cipher's henchmen's loved ones, forcing them to switch loyalties so that he could go after Dom. He flees after stealing her hacking technology and ordering the remaining henchmen to kill her. Cipher fought her way out, then went down an elevator shaft with one last goon before arriving at the Toretto residence. Dom and Letty contact Little Nobody, who dispatches agents to arrest Cipher right away. They then discover that the Rome heist was staged by Dante, so they fly out there. Tej, Roman, Ramsey, and Han move their cargo, which turns out to be a massive bomb, while on the streets. Dante then hacks into their trucks, causing them to veer into oncoming traffic before attempting to deliver the bomb to the Vatican. Dom, Letty, and Little Nobody apprehend the rest of the gang and transport them underground while Dante tries to blow them all up. The bomb ends up rolling down the hills and streets as Letty tries to pursue Dante, only for him to flee and her to be arrested. Dom apprehends the bomb and uses a crane to deflect it away from the Vatican, but the resulting blast radius causes significant damage. The gang is labeled as terrorists and forced to flee, while Dante brags to Dom about tearing his family apart. Tess, the daughter of Mr. Nobody, meets with new director Ames at the agency. Ames has been researching the Toretto gang's history, which ranges from street racing to global heisting, and believes that nobody has been too easy on them. While Tess argues in their defense and how they have apprehended some pretty serious criminals, Ames persuades the rest of the agency's board to pursue them. The gang is then labeled as international terrorists by the media, prompting Roman to bring Tej, Ramsey, and Han to London. When a team of agency mercs storms in, Mia is caring for little Brian. Maya fights them off while little Brian hides, only to be saved by Jacob, who had been contacted by Dom. He throws a guy through the floor and bashes other bad guys all over the place. Jacob tells Mia to go somewhere safe with Brian and the kids while he safely returns to Dom with little Brian. Tess tracks Dom down in Brazil and tells him who Dante is and why he's after him. He requests assistance in exonerating them and rescuing Letty, who has been taken to a secret agency base. Tess meets with Letty and devises a plan to move her out of their house and into another location by making it appear as if Letty is attacking her. Dom attends a street racing event to meet Diogo, as well as a young woman named Isabel, whom Dom knows. Dante appears and challenges Dom to a street race with Diogo and Isabel. During the race, Dante forces Dom to choose which of the two will die because he has planted bombs beneath their cars. Dom ends up slowing Isabel down, causing Dante to blow up Diogo on the track. Dante then attempts to pursue Isabel, but Dom, despite causing her to crash, knocks the bomb off her car. Dom pulls her out of the wreckage while Dante flees. The other 4 end up meeting Ramsey's old hacking buddy Bowie. Ramsey recovers a file and discovers that Dante is using her surveillance system, God's Eye, to target people close to Dom. Dante eventually drains their funds, but Roman had some cash saved up. The 4 are forced to find Deckard Shaw, who believes Han is there to fight him after his attempted murder, but their fight is cut short when more agency goons arrive. Shaw murders them and learns from Ramsey that his mother Magdalene is one of the possible targets, so he flees to protect his family. The rest of the gang finds a way to get to safety. Letty awakens in an agency facility with Cipher. She hacks the location in order to gas the guards and free them. While they are attempting to flee, Letty starts a fight, which results in them punching, kicking, and throwing each other into equipment. After they regain consciousness, Letty attempts to escape without Cipher, only to discover that the facility is in Antarctica. Jacob develops a bond with little Brian and attempts to blend in with him in order to avoid suspicion. They board a plane, and a flight attendant who is Jacob's friend informs him that 3 of Dante's goons are on board. He knocks them out and orders the woman to hide their bodies while he and little Brian board a secret plane bound for Brazil. Isabel awakens in Dom's apartment, which he shared with Elena, Isabel's older sister. She tells Dom that she has always thought Elena was the superior sibling and wonders if the wrong sister died. Dom assures her that this is not true. They discover Elena's old files on Dant, and a property of his linked to an abandoned police station with Isabel's assistance. Dom goes to the station and discovers a plethora of videos and recordings of him and his family over the years. Before Ames arrives to arrest Dom, Dant calls and taunts him about making him suffer before he dies, staring out the window at Isabel. Dom is transported across the same bridge where the heist occurred when Dant bombs the convoy carrying him. On the bridge, Tess and Ames try to take down Dant and his goons, but Dant has a sniper on them, which shoots them both out of commission before pointing at Isabel, who Dante had kidnapped. Dom pushes Isabel aside while Dante takes God's eye from Tess, letting Dom know that he can now find his son before fleeing. Isabel transports Tess to safety, while Dom and Ames race to find little Brian. Dant tracks down Jacob and little Brian, but Jacob arrives prepared with a cannon-loaded vehicle that blows the goons up. Little Brian tries to help by climbing out the back, but this allows Dant to steal the boy from the car. Dom is alerted before Jacob can reach his brother. Dom is dropped out of a plane in his car just as two of Dant's sniper choppers open fire with harpoons. Then Dom drives off the bridge, causing them to collide and explode. Jacob then gives Dom the opportunity to flee by sacrificing himself, flipping his bomb-laden car onto the approaching goons, and dying in a tragic but epic blaze of glory. Dom arrives at Dante's car and convinces little Brian to fly out into Dom's vehicle. Dante then has two oil tankers collide with Dom and little Brian over a dam, so he does the only reasonable thing and drives the car down the dam while the tankers blow up, forcing Dom to hit the nitro hard in order to outrun the ensuing fireball. Just as Dom and little Brian appear to be safe, a plane carrying the rest of Dom's gang is hit by a missile ordered by none other than Ames, who has been working with Dante since the Rio heist. Dom witnesses his friends collapsing into a mountain. Dom has had his suffering, and now he can die, according to Dante. He then wires the entire dam to blow in seconds. Dom can only stare at his son in terror. Back in Antarctica, Letty and Cipher emerge from the facility to see a massive submarine, piloted by Gizzle, emerge from the ice. Letty is stunned, while Cipher appears to have planned this all along. A swarm of cops swarms an abandoned Dant facility halfway through the credits. One of the men answers a ringing phone and hears Dant's voice, identifying him as his next target, because he is the man who personally executed his father on that fateful day. The man in question is, of course, Luke Hobbs. Before crushing the phone to dust, he simply tells Dante, "I ain't hard to find, ya sumbitch." So what did you think of this movie? Leave it in the comments below, and if you liked the video, please like and subscribe for more movie recaps. See you in the next video.